You ready to dance? Maybe. This is our top 20 dance-themed video game music show with songs chosen by Rudi, Cyflan, Claudio, Prince, Longbow, Xenmas, and Kris. This is from the original Streets of Rage. Way back on the Sega Genesis with FM Synth. Unbelievable, those hard bass and kick drum sounds they're getting and synth sounds. The Sega Genesis was very limited in trying to sound like anything else other than what it was, but if you worked within its limitations, it sounded pretty damn good. Let's get to our first pick. It is going to be first track chosen by Rudi from Xenogears. This is Balto, composed by Yasunori Mitsuda. That's not dancey. Just wait. A really cool combination of reggae with sort of traditional folk music. You got that reggae bit of the and then this part's a lot different, but earlier we hear the bass on the... We'll highlight it a little bit after this. Man, so hopeful and beautiful. Right there. Ba-doom boom, ba-doom boom. So you don't do anything on the one. There's no kick or bass on the one. Actually, this has got a dance feel, so they were actually putting the kick on the one as well. But it's the bass. Ba-doom boom, ba-doom boom, ba-doom boom, ba-doom boom. And that adds to the feeling of up. Ba-doom boom, ba-doom boom. Because when your body's expecting that bass on the one, and you don't get it. Ba-doom boom, ba-doom boom. Very reggae. Beautiful, beautiful track! Xenogears is a beautiful game with beautiful art. Just make sure we check what happens in this video here. Now, Xenogears use two-dimensional sprites and three-dimensional environments, which means you have this beautiful moment where a two-dimensional sprite hops on a three-dimensional motorcycle. One of the few times that's ever happened in a video game, so you're watching history, baby. Next up, chosen by Cyflan. This is from Super Robot Wars original generation. This is Fairy Dang Sing. right, so we've got the 4 on the floor. And actually, just like we heard in that reggae track, right, you have an emphasis on the upstroke. A lot of dance beats that do 4 on the floor are using... And it just creates this kind of movement. This little slower movement in between the fast 4 on the floor. Really nice track, actually. Considering what it's from, I thought it was going to be... The music was going to be a little more obnoxious, but this has like a real kind of dance pop song feel to it. Really fun. And dancing robots, of course. Next up, chosen by Claudio from League of Legends. This is Space Groove, written by Brendon Williams and composed by the Riot Music team. Or maybe performed by the Riot Music team. My gosh, that is some glorious disco music. More 4 on the floor. The play on the hi-hat. And it really has that disco feel of over the top, very positive, celebratory. Ooh, a lot of flutes and strings and kind of high choir. A bit of like a Star Trek, the original series feel to it. Just with some of the melodies, I like a bit of a spacey. Man, a really fun track. I love the bass in it. It really hits hard. It's got a bit more of a modern feel than the older disco, using the benefits of modern synth bass to really just pound you in the pounder. Next up, chosen by Prince from Bayonetta. This is Let's Dance Boys, composed by Hiroshi Yamaguchi. man, that is really, really nice. That's got another kind of like a disco feel with a lot of that 4 on the floor, but also, I think Solace put it best, it's got that parade sounding. It sounds like it's really trying to show things off. It sounds like it's really excited. There's a lot of energy behind it. It wants to show you what it's doing. This would be a great drag queen song. This would be a great gay pride parade song. Where is the Prince? I think this is going to be one of Prince's favorite weeks. Well, Bayonetta, thank you for that. All right, of course you knew there were going to be some tracks from Jet Set Radio. This is from Jet Set Radio Future. It's Funky Dealer, composed by Hideki Naganuma, and it was chosen by Longbow.
I ain't a winner. Pay the front line, take the don'ts. He's coming out again for a new point. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. 4-4's the point, mark 4. Ace, deuce, scrap, want 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 4. Ace, deuce, ace, deuce, scrap, want 4. Scrap, want 4. Who wants the hard 4? 5 wants 4.
Check me out, y'all.
I ain't a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. 4, and he made it the hard way. Hey, the front line takes the hard. We have a shooter and a good one. Coming out for a new point. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. He's a rolling point is 9. Place 9. Place 9. 8 shooting for 9. 5 shooting for 9. He's a rolling point is 9. Place 9. 8 shooting for 9. 5 shooting for 9. Who wants to come? 6 to point.
Check me out, y'all.
I ain't a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets. Place your bets. Who wants to come? 6 to point.
Man, that's cool. I love how they have this sort of like old school like detective. Ladies and gentlemen, place your bets here. Well, this is something you're about to experience in the Twilight Zone in 1932's Gotham, New York. And then just using that as almost like a vocal sample, and just hitting that in and keeping it rhythmic, gives it that feel where Jet Set is this music in the city, and music in the city as in boomboxes, DJs, taking things that exist around them and then just sort of like putting a spin on it, right? And it's the same thing with like graffiti, you know, you're taking, like Solace says, great music for neo-industrial exploration. Next up from Xenmas and Shin Megami Tensei 5. Shin Megami Tensei, of course, there's a law that if we don't play one song from that franchise, I will be executed every week. This is Dancing Crazy Murder, composed by Ryota, Kozuka, and Toshiki Konishi. dare not turn it down, but I must. Woo! Man, that really gets going. I love that last rock out part. It's a real headbanger. It just sets up that really strong, hard dance feel. And those awesome hard synths. Bit of distortion on them. A lot of like buzzsaw sounds. Awesome. I love this song. I added this to my favorite list. Okay, our first Kris pick. This is from Cadence of Hyrule, Gerudo Coliseum, composed by Danny Baranowsky. Whoa. This one fits really well with that last track. Really aggressively dancey, hard kick, hard synth, and like Claudio says, this one doesn't rely on quoting a famous Zelda track to be really catchy. It's just catchy on its own. Danny Baranowsky did some real magic with the soundtrack. Bravo. Next up, Rudy's next pick from Mega Dimension Neptunia V-Roman numeral 2. This is Scene, composed by Takeshi Toriumi. Man, that is really nice. As I was saying in the chat, Stella asked me what this week's theme was. When I said dance music, she seemed really surprised. She thought, do you mean like from Dance Dance Revolution? No, Stella. She doesn't play a lot of video games or listen to any more video game music than I expose her to, which is hardly any. But that's the thing, is that keeping it, well, when you're trying to soundtrack somebody playing a video game, if a video game has a lot of action, dance music works for that, because it has a, there's so much energy behind it, so much momentum. And it's also positive in a way, because with video games you're trying to usually have action, but you also want to encourage people too. Sometimes you want it to sound oppressive and maybe this like a very particularly challenging part, say a boss section or something. You might want to have it sound less positive because you're insinuating that this part is more challenging than everything else, but even then we get some killer dance tracks out of JRPG boss battles, so dance music just works. Next up, we have a cyflan pick. This is from touhou. Of course it is. touhou 16, Hidden Star and Four Seasons, composed by... Actually, I don't know if this is composed by... I don't know who the hell made this. I think this is actually the track for Crazy Backup Dancers. And then in brackets, we see the names Satoru Nishida and Mei Teiraida. So I don't know if they're the composers or the characters. And cyflan has warned us, this one's pretty weird. Well, I think that's like I mean, it's really, really fast and it's really frenetic and there's a lot going on, and it starts with that bit disorienting descending riff. But, I think I could see this going, this could be like a very odd dance party. This is definitely about as fast as you want to take people when they're dancing, but it's pretty wild. I think it's pretty fun. I like all the sort of the Latin horns too. I think they sound pretty nice. The character's power is drawing out your hidden power by dancing behind you. Alright, next up from the ever popular Persona 4, this is The Specialist, composed by Shoji Meguro, chosen by Claudio. Man, that rhythm track is just really, really lush. You got that 4 on the floor, you got some nice hi-hat work, you've got a lot of things filling it out, and you got that big bass just moving all over the place. That's the fun thing in dance music, is that if you really know what you're doing as a bassist, you can at the same time be a foundational piece, and you can also really showcase quite a bit, and you can provide a lot of melodic movement. And as long as you can keep nailing the parts that need to be nailed and held down, it'll still sound super dancey. I mean, what an incredible track. Persona always has some of the best music, and Persona 4, some of the danciest stuff by far. Beautiful. Well, our boy Prince couldn't make it, but he has chosen this game's music. The game is Maze, and the track is Top Secret, composed by Jeff D. Elliott. Well, it's Prince track, so you're not that surprised to hear vocals out of it. I feel like the vocal delivery, maybe at the in the first verse, it sounded like they were really going for like a David Bowie sound, and then as the chorus evolved, it sounded totally different. Now the second verse sounds totally different. So maybe they abandoned that idea. But when you're singing like this, it feels like David Bowie. Man, really fun. We've heard a lot of that 1980s era, really hard kick drum. It's digital, but it has a lot of attack on it, a lot of thickness, and a sharp edge too as well. Thick and sharp. Watch out for that. Next up, Longbow has chosen Funk Fiction from No Straight Roads versus the DJ Subatomic Supernova, composed by Funk Fiction. Man. This has got that real 90s world European dance with those sort of house piano right here, and then just those like really nice smooth synths. And then it had some of those big kind of chunky, these ones use Chicago chords. Man, beautiful. Killer bass, great beat. It's just like really, really lush sounds and a perfect build to the track. I love the way the track builds up, and when it's ready to hit you with that next section, you're so prepared for it, and when that change hits, it just feels glorious. All right, we have xenmas's pick from Sly 2. This is Tango with Carmelita.
Miss Fox, I believe you owe me a dance.
About time. I thought you had left.
It's nice after hearing a bunch of Euro big bashing dance epic anthems to slow it down a little and show that, I mean, this kind of music here is directly related to dance. This is the kind of bass line and rhythm, and the piano that's used and the violins is all based around a classic tango. Dum, 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 boom, 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 boom. Little hand castanets. Really beautiful. There's a good bit of accordion as well. Very traditional tango song. And danced untraditionally by two anamorphic foxes. But that's video games for you. Next up from Chris and Tekken 3, this is Eddie Gordo's theme, composed by Nobuyoshi Sano and Keiichi Okabe. And I find that that guitar adds a lot of personality. It gives that, kind of like funky sound, and then you got that talk box guitar. You have sort of, and I like that sample too, that it gives it sort of like a street, maybe like an exotic kind of street feel to it. Eddie Gordo, because I had Tekken 3 on the PlayStation, and I played with my friend Gavin, and he wasn't as much of a gamer as I was, and he wasn't as much of a fighting game player, but he would use Eddie. And if you just press these buttons here, if you just went like this, circle, you just go circle cross, circle cross, circle cross, circle cross, and he'll go into this combo where he does like a little handstand, swings his legs around, and he'll just do this unending combo that is very, very difficult to handle. But it was the only way we could work it out so that it was even between us. Next up, another PlayStation 1 game from Final Fantasy VIII. This is Man with the Machine Gun, composed by Nobuo Uematsu, chosen by Rudi. That opening is just so iconic. It just does a great job of building the attention. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I find that Nobuo Uematsu uses that a lot. It's kind of similar to what he used for the villain in Final Fantasy X. That dun 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 dun. But he messes around with the time signatures there to convey that this is a villain and it's going to be a challenging battle. Whereas this one is a little more straight ahead. It's just straight dance beats. There are no clever time signatures. And it's there just to show that there's a power behind this man with the machine gun. He is you. He's not going to be complicated for you to control. He's going to be quite easy. Going to be complicated enough just trying to understand the story in this game. Okay, next up, chosen by Claudio from Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. This is We Love Burning Town, composed by Jake Kaufman. Man. Oh, man. Anytime you hear a Claudio pick, you know, there's going to be some musicians in there having a lot of fun. I like when they do that riff when it goes ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da. And then when it does it the next time, it goes ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. So the first time you're right on that one, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. And the next time they do a little pause, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Sort of little dialogue between the two riffs. Just people shredding. You don't get to play on these kind of tracks unless you are a monster player. But they're having a lot of fun. And it's still really catchy and it's still very dancey. Big ending tag. Okay, next up, Longbow is chosen from Sonic Mania, Stardust Speedway Act 2, composed by T. Lopes. I love those deep house Chicago piano chords. Bow, 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 bow. They got just that, they're like the coziness of electric piano with a little bit of just like oomph around them that just gives them that dancing feel. And there's like such a beautiful, starts off really kind of simplistic sonic melody, bop, 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 boo-da, bop, boo. And then you have the rest of the song to just get a little more crazy and improvise, feature the melody some more, but just starting off with something that's just so like simple and dancey. Oh man, and there's like beautiful shifts that just like really take you on an emotional ride. Some nice key changes. They really nailed it with the soul of this soundtrack. Alright, next up, Xenmas is chosen from Final Fantasy XIV. Alright, What Angel Wakes Me by Masayoshi Soken.
From a flowery bed, the clouds ascend, tumble down again.
think that would work as you could dance a Viennese waltz to that. And no, I believe that is in. Sounds like it's in 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The difference is that usually waltz is more like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Really feeling the heaviness of that 1, whereas 6/8 usually feels like a pendulum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really fun. Like a lot of crazy work with the vocal melody. A lot of fun though. A lot of fun, kind of like overlapping rhythms, and like it's super dense, very, very musical to the extreme. Next up, a pick from Kris from Neon Abyss. This is a dance track composed by Min He. Nice. I love all those like a lot of really like hard sounds, a lot of hard bass and hard drums today. I like those time-based effects, just synced up to the BPM of the music. You hear that with a lot of compression when they sidechain it in. They bring the compression in on the beats, which gives it that kind of like sound. Really fast. Definitely sounds like something you hear in a club because it's kind of repetitive. It's kind of dark sounding. It's not distracting you with a lot of lyrics, or it's not overly positive. It's more like nighttime. Maybe I'm on drugs. Gotta dance. Can't think of anything else. Can't think of anything else. No. Well, we've come up to the last track of the day. Thanks, everybody, for submitting them. This last one is submitted by Claudio. It is from the great Busta Groove 2. This is The Heat Is On, composed by Aaron G. West.
On the scene, we keep it down. It's a brother with moves that you can't resist. It's like this and this and this. Ain't no need to try to duplicate this grip, cause if you do, you might trip and bust your lips off.
Love that breakdown. You know, this one of the reasons I really wanted to play this one is that there's a comment in here from Dragon Crash Hero 12 who said, "You would not believe the impact this game has had, particularly on the Latin American gaming community of the early 2000s. PlayStation had a major presence over its competitors, and this one is one of the most accessible dancing games on the scene, becoming perhaps the most popular dance game here, right up there with Crash, Lara Croft, and others." Which makes it sound like Crash, Lara Croft, and others are dance games. The song in particular is so awesome, how it fitted the character perfectly as well as with the animation and art. This game, its style, must be to such an improvement. Voices like yours made it more special and unforgivable. Oh, because I'm watching it on Aaron G. West's YouTube page. All vocals by Aaron G. Cool. So that's that more like 90s really soft bass. More similar to something you hear in the 70s and the 60s. Like Motown bass. Which a lot of like 90s hip hop had that like heavier and more groovy sort of bass sound. As opposed to stuff in like the late 80s, 90s was like that really hard bass that had attack on it. Like, you could like really hear, especially the kick. It sounded like you could hear it hitting something. Whereas this is as soft as possible. Alright, that was great. Thanks a lot, everybody, for your selections. Thank you to Rudi, and Cyflan, and Claudio, Prince, Longbow, xenmas, and Kris, and my mom for being here, and Risky Boots, and Solace for hanging out with us. Thank you, everybody. I'm out of here. Goodbye for now.